Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Week 1 of the NFL's in the books, and this video is for Week 2 spread picks. Before we get into those picks, I just want to do a quick recap on Week 1 because there's some interesting things that happened that we maybe weren't expecting. First and foremost, Ryan Fitzmagic, as I like to call him, leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a win over the Saints. Pretty impressive.
Who would have thunk it?
He was also the #1 fantasy scoring quarterback in Week 1, which is pretty crazy.
And I bet you no one had him. I bet you not one person had him.
Probably not in seasonal leagues. I highly doubt it.
Oh my God.
Then the other big shocker, New York Jets completely crapping on the Detroit Lions in their own stadium. And there's an interesting story behind this. Apparently, the linebacker from the Jets, Darren Lee, was stealing signals from Matt Stafford. Said like the defense knew what they were doing the whole time. Not sure how that went down, but like that's what he came out and said. Could explain why we had the big blowout, though.
Yeah, because I was literally sitting there thinking, are the Jets the new big dog in the East? Are they going to challenge the Patriots? I was like, man, who knows? Sam Darnold might be the truth. Who knows? And another big takeaway for me, there's two actually. Number one, Steelers and Browns tying? What's that about? How the hell do you, the Pittsburgh Steelers, tie with one of the worst teams in the NFL? I get it, it's not a loss, it's not a win. Whatever, it's neutral as Switzerland. But still, you tied.
Not really shocked by it, though, to be honest.
I mean, given what we've been talking about with the Browns and them being a legitimate threat, the fact that they didn't have Le'Veon Bell, but, I mean, Connor picked up where Le'Veon left off. They may not even need Le'Veon. But another question, the Ravens destroying the Browns. So it leaves you to ask the question, are the Ravens that good now, or are the Bills just that bad?
Well, I mean, I called it last week. The Bills are going to shit the bed, so I mean, it is what it is.
Hey, but Joe Flacco looked good out there with targets. But nonetheless, let's get into the picks for this week's game.
Why not?
All right. So first up, we have our Thursday night game. Baltimore takes on Cincinnati in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is a +3 at home.
I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens here with the -3. I think, it is a divisional rivalry where we could see the Bengals win, but I just like that Baltimore defense a lot better. And I think back to last year, what happened when they met the first time, and it got really bad for Cincinnati.
I think if the Ravens show up, like how they showed up this past Sunday, no question in my mind, Ravens. I'm not even going to talk too much about that. In our first Sunday game, we have Houston traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans, and at the current moment, there is no spread, so it's a straight pick 'em. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Houston on this one. I'm looking at the fact that Tennessee really came out flat in Week 1 against the Dolphins. And Marcus Mariota, I mean, last year his numbers weren't good, and through Week 1 of this week, his numbers aren't good. I'm starting to have some questions about that team.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he'll be the next $100+ million quarterback contract signee. So I'm definitely going to go with Houston. I think J.J. Watt's going to be all up in his grill, and I think he's going to have another shit week. Next up, Minnesota travels to Green Bay to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, and the Packers are currently -2.5 at home.
I'm rolling with Minnesota +2.5. I knew they're going to be a great team coming in this year. We look at what happened last week where the Packers won, but it was only by a point. And it was in their own stadium against the Bears. So I actually like Minnesota to come in and make some noise this week.
Yeah, I like this Minnesota squad. And again, in what Justin was saying, they not only barely won in their own house. The fact is that Green Bay honestly didn't win until the second half. Aaron Rodgers went in the locker room, came out wacky on God knows what. He looked high as hell in that one exit interview with a country twang. But he came out, showed up, it was enough to get him a win, but I don't think that type of gameplay is going to be enough to give him a win this week.
And on top of that, Rodgers did come injured out of that game. There's questions of if he's going to play this week.
That too.
I think he will, but I don't think he's going to have the same mobility.
Yeah. Next up, Cleveland travels to New Orleans to take on the Saints. And the Saints are -7.5 at home.
I'm actually going to go with Cleveland plus 7.5. I look at the fact that the Saints came out flat week 1, and I look at the fact that the Saints can win by a touchdown and still lose on this spread. So I'm going with the Browns.
I'm going to go with the Browns, too. I don't think, at this table, I don't think anybody's picked the Browns. Maybe once or twice.
I picked them last week.
Oh, shit, you did. I have never picked the Browns, though. I think I can confidently say that, but the Browns, I mean, they were going toe-to-toe with the Steelers, and we know what the Steelers have historically been able to do. Are the Browns the real deal? I guess we'll find out this week. I'm going to go with the Browns, though. Keep the dream alive. Next up, Carolina travels to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, who are -4 at home.
This one's kind of tough. But I think I'm going to go with Atlanta at home with the -4. Again, I don't feel highly confident in the pick because this is a divisional rivalry game that could probably go either way, but I like the home field advantage, and I think the Falcons will look better this week than they did first week.
I like Carolina over Atlanta. I think what we saw last week, they're going to bring it again this week, and I think Carolina's going to take advantage of that. Carolina's the real deal, man. They got the weapons. Cam Newton's out there just doing his thing, and I think this team has great chemistry right now from what I saw. So, go Carolina. Next up, Indianapolis travels to Washington to take on the Redskins, and they are -4 at home.
Oh, man, this one's tough for me to pick, too. I wasn't expecting much out of the Redskins last week, but they totally proved me wrong. I'm gonna go with Indianapolis +4. I'm kind of going out on a limb on this and say, it might end up close. Maybe they lose by a field goal and they still cover the spread.
Yeah, again, I think Washington. Honestly, I'm gonna go with the Redskins. I'm gonna go with the Redskins for the simple fact what they did last week was amazing. I don't think I can remember ever really seeing the Redskins play that good, honestly, and they were amazing. If they can bring that at home, yeah, there's no question, Redskins. And in saying that, especially concerning the next team we're about to bring up, it could be a potential threat for that NFC East. What do you think? You never know.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday. Who knows? Maybe it's too soon. Next up, Philly travels to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers, who are +3 at home.
I'm going to go with Philly here with the -3. I'm looking at the fact that, yes, Ryan Fitzpatrick had a great week 1, but he's known to be a streaky quarterback that sometimes puts up big numbers, other times shits the bed. And I just feel like Tampa Bay against the Saints in week 1 was more of just a case of no defense. So I like Philly here.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be taking on a way better defense in Philadelphia. I think Philly's going to keep the dream alive. They're going to take on him and could be 2-0 this week. And cover that spread, of course. Next up, Pittsburgh's definitely going to be looking for redemption in this game when Kansas City travels to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, who are -5.5 at home.
I'm going with Kansas City +5.5. No hesitation at all.
Your boy.
I was very impressed with what Mahomes did week 1. Impressed with the whole offense. I honestly thought the Chargers would come out squeaking out a win in that game. They didn't do it. Pittsburgh defense, I don't think is as strong as the Chargers defense. I honestly don't think so. So I like them to go in and get it done.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one. I honestly think Kansas City looked amazing. I mean, giving it to Patrick Mahomes was a great idea, giving him the reins. And again, who knows what the state of the Steelers is going to be this weekend. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the better suited team that showed up last Sunday and actually did something.
Exactly.
So, hands down. And next up, Miami travels to New York to take on the Jets. And before this, I'm a man of my word. Last week, I disrespected the Dolphins. And my boy Vince called me out on it on Facebook in front of everybody. I apologize. Because they actually did win. They actually did good. Tannehill did decent for what he is. Yeah, does another shot. Suck it. But I apologize to you, Vince. I apologize to Dolphin fans everywhere. I mean, I don't really know who the hell your quarterback's going to be this week. Is he going to show up? Who knows? But I do apologize for last week. We'll see what happens this week. Who do you got? Well, the Jets are also -1 at home.
I'm going with the Jets, man. I mean, they kicked ass in week 1. It might have been a little fluky if it really did come down to stealing signals from Matt Stafford. But look, the Dolphins, this is what we forgot last week about the Dolphins, is that they tend to surprise when they play at home.
Yeah.
They can upset some teams playing at home, but when they're going to a colder weather environment, they're going up to New York, I don't like their chances as much, and I really like what I saw of the Jets in week 1, so taking the Jets.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jets as well. I think they're better of the AFC East teams in this one. Yeah, can Sam Darnold, can lightning strike twice? Can the Jets do another blowout?
Can the Jets' defense and special teams run away with this one? We'll have to see.
We will see. Yeah, but for sure, I'm picking the Jets. Next up, the LA Chargers travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills, and the Bills have a +7.5. And these people are being so nice with these spreads. Oh my god.
Yeah, I honestly, I got the Bills losing by more than a touchdown. I'm going to take the Chargers. Bills, I'm calling it right now, are going to be the worst team this season. They're going to finish with the worst record out of anybody this season. I'm calling it right now. And honestly, I think it's going to take them more than week 2 to get things on track and start getting closer to getting a win.
Quarterback situation, what do you do if you're the Bills front office?
I think at this point you keep rolling with Josh Allen. You know, you stuck him in the second half of that Ravens game. He looked okay.
Yeah.
I would keep going with him and see what he does. But like I said, I don't like any of their quarterbacks. I don't like their team at all. So I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, I myself am going to go with the Bills as well. Not the Bills, I'm sorry, the Chargers. But in saying that, and concerning the Bills, I mean, Josh Allen honestly scared me a little bit. It was like, if he had been there, I mean, he didn't do that amazing at all. I mean, he was decent.
But they started moving the ball.
They started moving the ball, and that's what got me nervous. I was like, they're moving the ball. If this guy had been in since the first quarter, who knows what the score would have been. Probably at least got a touchdown or two. But I just don't think the Bills are a complete team at all. So next up, we have Detroit traveling to San Francisco in what I hope is Jimmy G's redemption game in San Francisco. They currently have a 3.5 at home.
It's kind of a tough one for me here. I mean, because I'm thinking like, what happened week 1 with Detroit? Was that fluky, or is that going to be the story of them this season? You know, that's one thing I'm thinking about. But also, this is a home game for the 49ers against a softer opponent, and that makes a difference. So I will give Jimmy G the benefit of the doubt and say the 49ers pick this up and cover that spread.
I think the 49ers are going to cover the spread. I think this is a much weaker defense than the Vikings. So I think, honestly, Jimmy G is going to get to true form and win us another game. Because San Francisco's the shit right now. Next up, Arizona travels to L.A. to take on your Rams. The Rams currently have a -10 at home. Wow. Wow.
I wasn't expecting this wide of a spread, but pretty sure we covered that against John Gruden, though. So, and this is at home. So I'll have faith that we're going to blow them out by more than 10 points. I'm going with the Rams.
I'm going to go with the Rams as well. Again, another team that has a crappy starting quarterback, a nice young rookie that might be able to do something. They're a little bit confused on what they want to do at that quarterback situation, much like the Bills. I think this is the NFC Bills here. So I'm going to go with the Rams. I think the Rams are going to put on a show. No question. Next up, Oakland travels to Denver to take on the Broncos at home. The Broncos are at home with a -4 spread.
I'll go ahead and take the Broncos with the -4. I still think the Raiders, they're going to pick up some wins, obviously, at some point in the season. They're not that bad of a team, but I still don't have a lot of confidence in Gruden, and they have the oldest roster, in the league. I just don't see them going into Mile High and knocking off the Broncos here.
So you're still high on Denver?
Yeah. Still high on Denver.
Holden's still high on Denver, and I am as well. Pass it. I'm going to go with Denver as well. Again, I'm not sure what the Oakland Raiders are trying to do this week. I mean, you got rid of your number one defensive player and then have the nerve to show up Monday morning asking, well, we're going to have to figure out what's going on with the rush. I don't get it. Why can we get pressure? Well, dumbass, it's because you got rid of your best player probably on the team.
The thing about it is, like, I don't think...
Oh, you do not justify this.
Well, hold on. Here's the thing about the trade. I don't think it was that terrible if you're admitting you're going to rebuild the team. Because if you make those draft picks pan out, which is a big if, it could work out. But you pretty much are admitting this season we're not going anywhere. Because you got rid of your best player on defense far and away. For picks. Not for a player, for picks. So, yeah,
You
I
didn't
think
even
the
get anybody
Raiders...
to replace him.
The Raiders are in full rebuild mode, honestly. And, yeah, I'm not taking them here.
They're on something. I don't know, man. But I'm going, again, I'm with Denver on this one. Next up. This is going to be a good game. The Patriots travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. And it is a straight pick 'em, ladies and gentlemen. There is no spread. It is just either or. Wow.
I think this may be the start of the Patriots' demise, Gerald. I think this game might be it.
Woo!
I'm going to take Jacksonville.
Yeah, man. Wow. No spread. Yeah, I'm going with Jacksonville. I think they're about to show who runs the AFC, honestly. I mean, they came so close last year. Wow. This is going to be a good game. I'm actually probably going to watch this.
This might be the game where Brady starts to show his age.
Yep, this is the beginning of the retirement tour for Tom Brady. And watch me eat my words next week. The next game on the list, the Giants travel to Dallas for Sunday Night Football. In Dallas, Dallas has a negative 3.5 spread. Who the hell is making these spreads? Dallas sucks. Who you got?
I got Dallas at home minus 3.5.
Really?
I may end up regretting it. We'll see. But honestly, I think Prescott's going to have a much easier time moving the ball through the air in this one. The Panthers have a rough defense. The Giants are kind of a joke. So I think the Dallas is going to move the ball better in this one.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Giants. I love Saquon Barkley. I think this kid has all the potential in the world. And I just think the Giants, believe it or not, have more weapons than Dallas. At least on offense, to put points on the board. Because that's the most important thing. You can't win a game without putting points on the board. And as Dak Prescott, I'd be looking behind my shoulder, thinking about who they're about to draft. Because if that boy don't step up, they're drafting somebody else. I think there may be a new quarterback in Dallas by the end of next season. But that's just me.
You make some fair points on that one.
Yep. And our Monday Night Football game, Seattle travels to Chicago. Where Chicago is a -3 at home. Wow.
I'm going to go with Chicago here. Week one, they actually had that game in the bag until they blew it in the fourth quarter. And I don't know if you attribute that to coaching or just Aaron Rodgers being an awesome quarterback. But that was a very close game we saw last week. And now Chicago's playing at home in the Windy City. I think they're going to get it done.
Yeah, I think Chicago definitely showed up last week. And again, I don't know what went on in that locker room at halftime, but Aaron Rodgers came back out. He was like, I'm back, and won it by a point, nonetheless. But that shows the strength of Chicago right now, the fact that they could keep up with a big NFC North contender like the Packers. So I don't think that's going to change this weekend. I think they're going to cover this spread.
And also, I will also point out, with Khalil Mack on this team now, how the hell are the Seahawks going to block for Russell Wilson in this one? I mean, it's going to get bad.
It's going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly quick. I don't know what's going on with the primetime games this week. Those are 2 games that I don't think should be primetime. But whatever, it's not my decision. That's it.
So that's going to do it for the Week 2 NFL spread picks here on Lit Sports Online. Make sure to like and subscribe to LitTube channel. Follow us all over social media and check out our blog. Stay tuned for next week.
And from the LitTube family, just want to wish a rest in peace to Mac Miller, who passed away last week. And just want to say something to our fans. If you're dealing with stuff, don't be afraid to speak out. Addiction, depression, whatever it is, speak out and make it hurt, because you got someone that's here for you. Take care.
As a kid, I didn't learn that, but when you were young and you just trying to live your life and have some fun in the world.